Hello, everybody. It's me, Arjun. I'm here with my cat, Rain, and it's been a while since we've done a movie review, so we're going to do a movie review. And I mean, there's a lot of big movies that have come out or are going to come out soon. We've got Godzilla versus King Kong just came out. We have the 4 hour Justice League self-indulgent masturbatory Snyder cut. We have that we can review. There's the Dune movie. There's No Time to Die. There's A Quiet Place too. We have all these like incredible films that even if they aren't like good, they should at least make a good review. So we have all that stuff to look forward to. But we aren't here to talk about those. We're here to talk about something far more nefarious. It's no surprise that this is theoretically at least a horror movie. Rain doesn't really seem to be that interested because she doesn't want to hear me talk about this. It's funny, when I put this movie on last night, she just ran away. I don't know if I've ever really seen that before because she knew the horrors that was gonna go. So my friend Serp has watched, I don't know, probably tens of thousands of movies. He's watched like the most obscure, bizarre, like art films, experimental films, films that aren't even films, films like where blackbirds fly and where the dead go to die. Where I watched the trailer and it made me think I was on acid and I couldn't watch more than like 30 seconds of it. He's seen shit that like I can't even imagine, and I think I broke him with this movie. He said this he has to wait for it to sink in, but he said this is probably the worst movie he's ever seen. So I view that as an accomplishment. I had some other people watching it and they lasted maybe 5 minutes. And I'll include a link below. I could not find a single copy of this movie available for download or live streaming. So I purchased the DVD, I ripped it, and it's now up on my Bitchute. So, I mean, that's cool. So you guys will be able to enjoy this movie if you so choose. And I dare you to watch it because this is the worst movie I've ever seen. Like it's in trying to pick the worst movie you've ever seen, it's like hard because like there's shit like Tree of Life or El Topo or Cold Souls or like stuff like that, which are art films and they're boring as fuck and they're like unwatchable because of how boring and slow they are. And then there's just like really lame shit like I'm trying to think what are some of the other worst movies I've seen. There's like bad comedies like All About Steve or Jack and Jill or Freddy Got Fingered or Grown Ups. There's crap like that. Then there's just really boring movies like Cowboys and Aliens or I don't know, some of the Twilight movies or like the Half Blood Prince. There's a lot of like different kinds of bad. This film succeeded in taking all the different parts of horrible and mixing them together. This is like also it's just like it's an interestingly bad movie. Like if this was just some fucking random art film somebody shot like in college, then that would be bad, but that wouldn't be like interesting bad because like no one would have heard of it. No one's heard of this piece of shit either, but there's like people that people have heard of who are in this movie. So that being said, we're going to talk about today's film, and I don't know. We're gonna first start out by reviewing the DVD case because this is the worst DVD I've ever seen. This is worse than like the DVDs I used to buy at the Pacific Mall. This is worse than that. Okay, so here we have it. Our film today, "The Hip Hop Witch," starring Mob Deep, Raw Digga, Eminem, Praz, Killa Priest Rock, and Ja Rule. And it says doesn't want to focus. I can't really blame them. Someone or something is attacking hip hop artists in New York. 1 year later, their stories are found. Wait, this was a found footage movie? I actually had read this before. I hadn't actually realized this was a found footage movie. It's not shot in the form of a found footage movie. What the hell? So let's look at the special features, because the special features for this are fucking amazing. Let's see here. Wow. This is really not like fucking $1,000 phone, and it can't like. Maybe it just doesn't want to focus. If that was the case, that would be understandable. Okay, so it says full screen version, interactive menus. What the fuck is an interactive menu? Like they're saying that like it's some sort of like. There we go. I just had to zoom out. Interactive menus, digitally mastered. What the fuck is digitally mastered? I've heard of digitally remastered, but not digitally mastered. 2.0 digital stereo, like as opposed to digital mono. Like, it's just like, stop, Arjun. No, no, Arjun, no. Don't look at it. Okay, digitally mastered, optional Spanish subtitles, scene access. There's not even the trailer. There's no deleted scenes. There's not even the trailer. There's nothing. So let's look at this. Like this DVD cover looks like some shit I made back in Rain's just like, no, don't. No, don't. Look, her eyes are wide open and like horror, unable to. Like, look how bad this looks. Like, look how shitty that Photoshop job is. And those were the best pictures they could find. It's just. A supernatural terror is attacking rap and hip hop artists in New York. The Street Dawn, a notorious rap mogul, offers $10,000 for the capture of the Black Witch from the projects. They don't even get this right. In the movie, it's $10 million. What the fuck? They can't. Oh. An aspiring reporter convinces several well known hip hop artists to disclose their personal accounts with the witch. 5 bored white kids from Framingham, Massachusetts join the witch hunt, but wind up just lost in the hood. Featuring Mob Deep, Ja Rule, and many other of today's hottest hip hop artists. So, this is the Hip Hop Witch. This is the worst movie ever made. I mean, the fact that it's called the Hip Hop Witch and it's ostensibly a parody of the Blair Witch Project called the Hip Hop Witch is already shit. Like, that already puts it in, like, the bottom 1% of movies. And you just know looking at this that this is going to be bad. But this is worse than, like, a friend of mine and I were trying to watch like the IMDb bottom 100 like a decade ago, and he's like, "Why don't we watch The Hip Hop Witch?" I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" And he's like, "It's this movie that's apparently one of the worst movies ever." And I'm like, "Sure." And we watched it, and I couldn't believe how bad it was. And rewatching this like 10 years later, this is much worse than I remember it being. Not just in terms of it being boring or retarded or lame, but just how poorly made this is. This has the worst sound mixing, the worst cinematography, the worst editing I think I've ever seen in a movie. Like the shitty that guy with the glasses movies are better than this. The shitty like skits that people do on YouTube are better than this. Like the crappy skits that I do in one take on my phone camera without caring about the lighting are better than this. This video is better quality. This video is much better quality than the Hip Hop Witch because I'm mostly holding the camera still. So, like, how to describe the Hip Hop Witch? The Hip Hop Witch is not a film to be watched, but a reality to be experienced, I guess is how I would put it. It's I'm just trying to like I'm struggling to even describe what the fuck this movie is. Okay, so there's like three or four plot strands, and that's being extremely generous. There's one which is this reporter who gets a job at a newspaper or some sort of, I don't think it's ever established what it is. It's like a magazine or a newspaper or something. And she left her previous job because she was sexually harassed at her previous job. And her boss at the new job grabs her ass. Um, and she was going to get like promoted to being a reporter, but then wasn't. And she was trying to bring this story towards the main the head of the news about the hip hop witch. And she's like, no, that's retarded. We aren't going to do a story about the hip hop witch. And then the boss who sexually harassed her is like, we need to do a story about hip hop. So she like hides the story because she wasn't promoted. Some other woman was promoted over her. So she's going to try to find the hip hop witch. And ostensibly, I think most of this movie is her interviewing various rappers who have gotten attacked by the hip hop witch. Her story never gets concluded though, although there's like this amazing twist at the end that was so good that it made Serp declare that this film was evidence that God was real. But yeah, so that's one. The second is there's this like group of white kids from like Massachusetts who know about witches. And one of them's like Shaggy for some reason. I'm not making this shit up. So there's like Shaggy, and then there's like the other white kids, and they go into the hood, and I think they get killed. I'm not really sure, but there's that plot strand. Then there's also like, what did they call him again? The Street Don, although I think he's called something different in the movie, who offers $10 million. It says 10,000 on the DVD case for anyone who can provide information about the witch. And like the white kids try to blackmail him by saying that there is no witch. But like 80% of the movie is just them interviewing hip hop artists, just randomly, incoherently spliced together. And like they just basically they're all high. They're all really obviously high, and they just get asked to talk about the witch. So like most of the movie is just like 5 second interviews with like Ja Rule or Praz or Killa Priest or whatever, and they'll just talk about like the fucking witch, or I can't do it. Like just they just talk about their experience with the hip hop witch, and they'll just give like conflicting stories. I guess the main theme is that she puts fingers up their ass, or they. I guess in the case of Eminem, she put his finger up her ass and then tried to eat him that way. But most of it involves something involving an ass and a finger, and the hip hop witch providing them with drugs, and they just talk about like don't fuck with the witch, and that's like a large portion of the movie. I don't, I'm struggling to even describe this. And this is shot on VHS, and this is the worst cinematography I've ever seen. This movie has Dutch angles. This movie just randomly cuts. There's people like moving in the background. There's scenes where they cut between two people talking, and it's obvious that the two people were filmed in separate rooms. There is no sound mixing. You can tell they just did the first take. So like there'll be just people talking in the background. The like it already looked like shit. Like the version you on Bitchute is a direct DVD rip, and it looks so bad that you'll like think your monitor's busted. And it's so wretched on every level. This is a film that has absolutely no redeeming character. Oh no, wait, there's one. Okay. There's one redeeming characteristic, which actually wasn't as good as I remember it being. Someone actually put up a thing on YouTube that had the compilation, but basically they got Eminem involved in it, and I think this is the second edition of the DVD cover because the first one had Eminem on it because he's a big name. But Eminem, I think, sued them to get his face removed from it because he didn't want to be associated with this piece of shit. Which, to be honest, I can't really blame him. I probably would have tried to get my name removed from my image removed from this too. Like if there was a silver Espeon on the front of this, I'd probably sue them to get it removed. Or at least I'd tell the Pokemon company to sue them and that they don't want their game series associated with this movie. What would it be if this was like a Pokemon one? Would it be like the Umbreon Witch? Or like the Gardevoir Witch? I don't know, I'm just stalling. So, like, it's just shit, and there's this stuff going on in the background. And the funniest thing is Vanilla Ice is fairly prominent in this, and he's the only person who tries to act. And he's like tolerable as an actor. He's the only one who tries to like read the script. And it's really surreal. And like the big reveal at the end is that this whole time Vanilla Ice was actually the hip hop witch, even though people have frequently given descriptions of the hip hop witch throughout um, that don't line up with Vanilla Ice. But Vanilla Ice, I guess, because he was the only person who could stick around for the duration of this project, um, turned out to be the hip hop witch in the end. So like that happens. I'm not really sure what else happens at the end of the movie. I think the kids get killed. I think the reporter gets killed. I think some other stuff happens. I'm not really sure, but it's bad. It's like the worst thing ever. See, Rain's just running away. I threw the DVD down. She's fuck it. I don't want to be around this piece of shit. So this has been uploaded. She's just sniffing it. This has been uploaded to Bitchute. I'll include a link below. So I dare you to fucking watch this. I don't know if you can hear him. That's my parents' cat who has dementia and he's screaming. He probably saw like a 5-second clip of the hip hop witch, and that's what his problem is. Hey, girl. But yeah, that's it. Is the hip hop witch, the rap hip hop parody of the Blair Witch Project you never knew you needed.